Hi, my name's Paul Holland and now I'm going to show you how to tie a pole rig. It's so easy, you'll wonder how you ever done it any other way. Here's a rig that I've recently used and that's what you're left with after you finish with it. Just break it off above the float and below the float. When making a rig from scratch that you've never used before, obviously you attach your float to the main line, then you cut your 3 rubbers, put that on the main line and then push the rubbers on, making sure that the last rubber just protrudes a bit to stop wrap overs. But I'm going to show you a way to retie a rig that you've used before. First, get your main line, in this case 016. Next thing you need, as you can see here, I brought along 2 ways. And the reason I use these is to pin the spool of line to allow me to keep a tight line to tie the rig. So one goes on there. Now you've got the end of your main line which you're going to tie your rig from and your float. All you do is get the 2 pieces of line and attach them together, then do an overhand loop, pull both bits of line back through. Now you're basically sliding this float onto this line. So first of all, always wet it. The wetter it is, the better it is. And gently, by biting the line at the bottom of the float, you just slide it so that the knot is going to come through the rubbers and out the bottom end. So now it's through the first rubber and the 2 pieces of line are still in that rubber, and that's important. If the line was cut shorter and you're pulling on it, with the 2 bits of line hanging through, it will keep it in each rubber and allow you to pull it through in one hit. If you do it too short, you could find that it split. And there you have it. The line on the main line, again, always keeping it wet. And every time you move a float, always move it from the top. The bottom of the body, don't pull it from the bristle, or even on a wire stem, push it from the bottom of the float. Always hold it below the body, and then you don't get the line cut into the body and you won't bend the stem. So just by gently pulling it up, trim the main line off, discard the bit of excess line. Next thing to do is get the main line with your loop tire, just tie in a loop in the line and you twist it between your fingers. So now you have the loop of line. I will show you that again. So get your line, make a loop, big loop, pull them together and then twist it once and you have your 2 loops. With your loop tire and the main loop, not the end loop, put it on it and go once, twice and hold your finger on it to stop it sliding back over. With the other loop, you put it in between the gap. So now you have it like so. The next most important thing, again, always remembering to wet any knot that you tie. So just gently licking it, and when you're licking it, just pulling it together, and then you just slide it back out again. And you can see there, you've got a perfect knot. Now, this is the most important thing to do when you're tying any knot. If it breaks here, it doesn't matter, you just tie another one. And always pull it as tight as you can, regardless of the diameter of line you're using, 012 to 020, it does not matter. And what you're looking for is, you don't want the piece of line, the excess piece of line, to kick off at a funny angle, because that will mean that when you've made your loop, the line has twisted and it's not what you want. By making a rig, you're better off having 1 rig tied perfectly than 1,000 rigs just rush through. So it's worth taking your time and just making sure all these little bits are perfect, and it'll give you utmost confidence that when you happen to hook that big one, you will make it count because your rig will not let you down. So again, if I show you, like, I could not pull that any harder without cutting my fingers. So now what's left to do is trim that piece of line off, and again, that's why you need a real sharp pair of scissors. So all I do is bite this, and with the scissors, go real close to the knot, and there you have it, a loop that's perfectly straight. If you tied another knot, a loop knot, where you tied it through and pulled it, it will not lie as straight and as neat as the knot with the loop tie, and that's why on any loop that I tie is always with a loop tie. So now we have the start of our rig. The next thing to do is obviously shot it, and I've got an easy way to do it, and if you take this piece of advice, it will make your life so much easier.